Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of a new Trekkie. My 5-year mission to search out Star Trek media, to seek out our fans and merchandise, to boldly go where no fan has gone before.
Greetings and salutations, how's everybody doing? So, what I'm about to talk about, 2 episodes from the second season of Star Trek. And the first episode we're discussing are the Changeling and Mirror, Mirror. On that wall. Sorry, I had to put in that, because I wanted to. But first we're going to talk about is the episode, The Changeling. And in this episode, a robot calling itself Nomad basically is discovered, and it's trying to check out the crew instead. They say, you are imperfect, and all that.
I felt like music.
What is music?
And basically the crew is trying to deal with it and figure where did it come from, what does it want, and why, and as well as how do they get rid of it. I'm gonna be honest, this concept of this idea of say a probe from the past, interacting with the future, that's actually a pretty cool concept. Actually, this idea was later being used for the concept would later be used for Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and I gotta say this is a pretty cool idea in the fact that it's like a giant floating robot, so it's a very cool visual idea. And honestly, I think it's pretty cool. The acting's pretty good, especially say after Uhura, after her mind gets wiped and basically her intelligence gets kind of whacked out. And yeah, basically this little robot, he can basically zap you out of existence or zap you back into existence, or in a way kill you.
Keep away from that study! He's dead, Jim.
In a way. So yeah, for a concept for an episode, it's pretty cool. I'll be honest, say visually, the little robot is kind of funny looking too, and if whenever it's moving and all that. And so all honesty, I actually kind of think this episode is kind of actually kind of interesting, and that's actually honestly kind of actually worth checking out. And honestly, it's pretty good. The concept's pretty good. The acting's not bad. But let's go ahead and talk about the next episode, which is the episode Mirror, Mirror. This episode is actually considered the most, from a fan's perspectives, one of the best episodes next to Spacey. I can see why, in the fact that basically this whole concept of this episode is after a cosmic storm, Kirk, Lieutenant Uhura, as well as Scotty and Dr. McCoy, they all get sent to a different alternate reality with different versions of the crew, and are trying to figure out ways to get home. And I gotta say, this episode is great in the fact I think the actors probably enjoyed this episode because they were able to act differently to the way the characters are, especially I bet for Leonard Nimoy, in fact he get to wear a beard and act like a bad guy for once.
Our minds are merging, Doctor.
And also I think that the fact although we've had quite a few episodes where Shatner has had to play an evil version of Kirk.
Let me go! Spock! Get these men off me! Spock! You traitors! All right, Spock. Whatever your game is.
And honestly, I kind of think if they were going to do this episode, a mirror version of it, I feel like, say, it would have been cool too if they had, like, if they had just kept Kirk as the good guy, and, you know, he's just, like, say, like, you know, he was the good version. Like, both versions of this alternate reality had good versions of it, instead of, like, say, oh, another version of Kirk who's a bad guy. I mean, I understand the point in the fact that, you know, if you have one that's the evil, you kind of have to have them all be evil. I'll be honest, like, say, the one continuity thing I kept on, was blaringly obvious, but if you weren't really paying attention, was in the fact that whenever Sulu is on screen, you can obviously see his mic attached, like, you know, with the makeup over his face, and his mic just taped on there. Yeah, you can definitely see it if you look really hard. I mean, not if you look hard, if you just, like, look at it for a few seconds, you're like, oh, there it is. And that's the crazy thing is about, like, you don't really see it on the other actors, which makes me want to, like, see, what was the exception for George Takei? Why did they do that? And I'm not saying, like, say he did a bad acting job. Oh, because he did a great job acting. Especially since this is the first time we actually see him be a role, like, have, like, a more different role in the fact that he is a bad guy in this episode, which is really, honestly, he was given a lot of meat for this role, and that, for this episode. I think everyone got, like, a little more meat to chew on, especially for this episode. And I'll say, actually, I think this episode for Mirror Mirror is obviously great. The concept of the mirror universe would actually later be used in different iterations of Trek, whether it would be in Deep Space Nine, Star Trek Enterprise. I'm gonna be interested if there's a version of it in Star Trek: The Next Generation, because that'd be pretty cool to see. I bet it probably shows up in Star Trek Picard, but yeah. Honestly, I actually kind of think these episodes are actually both pretty enjoyable. I especially like the fact, like, say, we have, you know, the makeup for the characters in Mirror Mirror. I think it's pretty good. I like the different costumes.
Of advancing in rank.
For the characters in this episode. But honestly, what do you guys think of both of these two episodes? Put your thoughts in comments down below. Let me know. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. See you later.